And so it scared me tremendously. The clients were there, and I was screaming like a 12-year-old girl. I mean, I was panicked, because I was just trying to crawl by it, and I was looking at it, and I was like, this got hit by a car, but it's over here to die. Just leave me alone and let me look at the house. I won't mess with you.
Hey, folks, this is the reason I don't crawl underneath the house. Hey there. Welcome to Your Real Estate Mama. I'm Jan Scott, and I'm here to help you navigate the ups and downs of buying or selling a home. I've been wrangling the real estate market for over 35 years, and trust me, with all this gray hair comes a whole lot of wisdom. I'm excited to share tips, a little humor, and plenty of encouragement to make your journey easier. Whether you're new or a regular, I'm so glad you're here. Follow the show for new episodes every week, and together we'll grow and help even more folks. You already know how I feel about home inspections. I don't just recommend them, I insist on them. They are hands down one of the most important parts of the home buying process. And a good inspection can save you from a world of heartache, hidden repairs, and unexpected expenses. That's why I'm shining the light today on this topic and bringing in the experts who live and breathe home inspections every single day. My guest today is Tony Peary. Tony is owner and operator and inspector of Sweet Home Inspections. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you.
So glad to have you.
Me. It's good to be here.
And let me tell y'all, Tony knows his stuff. We're going to talk about what every buyer should be looking for, and what a good home inspector does, and why skipping the home inspection is not just worth the risk. So grab your cup of coffee and let's get ready and go. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning.
Tell me a little bit about you.
Sure. So my name is Tony. I'm from Alabama, not originally, but I moved here in 1985, and I've never left the South since. I'm married to my wife, Shannon. We live in Alberta. We have a 25-year-old son. I'm a former veteran, I'm a Christian, and I'm a home inspector, most importantly for this podcast. And I've been a home inspector for about the last 5 years.
Great. So tell us, Tony, why is getting a home inspection so important?
Sure. So, before I was a home inspector, I thought, maybe get one, maybe not. It's up to you. But after becoming a home inspector and seeing all the things I've seen, I realized the money that you pay for a home inspection, which the typical national average is between $350 and $700. My home inspections start at $400, right? And they just go up based on square footage. So it's $400. That money is so small compared to the total investment of that property. And what that inspection is going to do is it's just going to tell you all the deficiencies and what exactly is going on with that property. So you'll know, and it's better to know every little thing that's going on and not buy into a problem than to not know. Because once you bought it, that problem's yours.
Exactly. Can you tell me just a few of the things that you found in homes recently?
Oh, my goodness. So
you
can
probably could write a book, right?
You really could, and so it could be something as small. So the smallest thing you might find, might be a newer house and almost nothing's wrong with it, but maybe one of the burners on the stove doesn't work and a new stove costs $600. Well, I put that in the report, that you might just be able to negotiate with the sellers to, hey, man, you know what? We'll just buy a whole new oven. And if that happened, just for a little broken oven, the inspection paid for itself. So it could be something as small as that, but it can be something major. Like just last month, I was inspecting a home, and it had four, when I consider something major, is something that could affect whether you buy the house or not.
Right.
Because it's usually a large dollar volume. And so this house had to have the plumbing replaced, had polybutylene plumbing, which is an old plumbing that will fail, so it has to be replaced. It had plumbing that had to be replaced. That was enough to maybe make you second think. It had electrical that was solid aluminum, which also has to be replaced. I mean, that's a fire hazard, that's a high risk, had to be replaced. It had leaks in the roof, and it had termites.
Oh, wow.
But this was the right buyer. There's the right buyer for everything. He was a general contractor, so we just needed to know what all is going on so we could get quotes and prices and bids and teams and know exactly how much he was going to have to invest to go forward with that property. So he still went forward with that property, even though it had a ton of things. But that house might not be for everyone. So,
Exactly. And I know working with a lot of buyers, they do want these properties. A lot of times they walk in and they feel the home, and this is their home. And then we do the home inspection, and the home inspector gives us a long list. But that's a great place to go back to the negotiating table.
Yes, ma'am.
With a lot of buyers, because you can go back and I can furnish your report to the seller's agent and say, we want either the items fixed or we would like to have compensation, which will reduce in the price. And there's a lot to detail. So when we get your report, we have to take it, and then I have to go get contractors. If it's something structural, then that entails the structural engineer. We can go back. So you kind of go back. I tell everybody, you kind of go back to the negotiating table after the home inspection, and we see what's on there. And then I've had some major issues, but I've had my buyers go ahead and follow through with the sale because they love the home.
Absolutely.
And they just needed it repaired and needed to know how much it would cost to repair it.
Exactly.
So that maybe is on an older home. What about new homes? Why is it important to get an inspection on a new home?
Sure. So it's a great question. And a lot of times, and there's a lot of buyers who are like, it's a brand new home. It has a warranty. Everything's going to be covered. It's brand new. Why should I get this inspected? And it's a great question. And yes, you should get it inspected. And the reason why is there's still things going on, and even new homes, lots of things. By having a professional inspector come out and look at it and get you a whole list, now you've got a real list that you don't have to go up into your attic and go into your crawl space or go dig. You have a list that you can give to your contractor or the builder, and they can get that done for you, and then to keep up with it. If it's usually about a year warranty, that you want it done before that year, or you want it in writing, that if it's going to take longer than that they're still going to take care of these initial problems. So on new constructions are some of the easiest properties that I still look at. But I've still found some major things that have, for example, I've seen bad grading. So there was a time when one of the local builders had basically lost their grading crews and went and hired new crews and didn't know, and these new crews just made a lot of grading mistakes. And basically, a house, especially when it's new, and you can move the dirt any way you want it on a small hill. And I mean small, but for the first 10 feet away, you'd like the ground to slope away from the house. And in this new house, it was the first house in the subdivision right off the street, and it was this huge hill came down and went right in the side of the house.
Wow.
So all of that water from all of that hill is all going to flow right against the house and flow against that house for years.
Right.
And that was a new home. And you might not even know that. You look at the house, go, look, the house is beautiful. Everything looks great. You don't know that there's a grading problem, but that grading problem, and it wouldn't cause damage in the first year or even 2 or even 5 years. But 20 years from now, that water keep hitting that side of the house and just that side of the house and that much water, it'll cause weird things to happen with the way the house settles. The house will shift, rack, settle funny, could dip more on one side, could turn and twist.
It really cause foundation issues if the water problem is not taken care of.
Correct.
With all of the grading and stuff. And, in new homes, everybody says, well, the appliances are under warranty. I'm just not going to do it. But the big thing is the framework, the construction. And even though if it's in the city, they've had city inspectors come out, but you as an inspector can get up there and look at the framing of it. I have actually seen some rafters that have not been nailed.
Oh, man.
On some reports that I've gotten back on brand new homes. It's built by humans. When a home is built by humans, there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be things that are overlooked. And if you're going to buy one of the biggest investments that you'll probably ever buy in your lifetime, the home inspection report is a minor expense compared to what you could save in the long run.
Yes, ma'am. 100% agree.
New homes.
So with new homes, too, so things that I've found, and a lot of times it's not a big deal. It's easy to fix, but it'd be a big deal if you didn't have it. So I've seen no insulation sometimes, probably 3 different times, when it's like we're 2 or 3 days away from closing and there's no insulation in the house. Again, they'll put it in, but you might not know to look. You might not know, there's something wrong in the attic. And in fact, I'd met a girlfriend of mine who had lived in a house for over 2 years, a new house that, she was renting. So I don't know if it was ever inspected or not, but it was always hot. And so I went over there, and long story short, she didn't have insulation in her house.
Wow.
From the time it was new. And so it cost her utility bills were $500 a month for the whole year. And her house was always hot.
Right.
And it was due to no insulation done. So other new home stuff you find, I found a lot of times just things that are negligent, that are easy to fix, but just no one's gone back and looked. So like the main grounding rod for your electrical, I have seen that not connected. It's there. It's got the grounding rod. You've got your distribution panel. You've got everything, but there's not the copper line that connects it. Well, that means it's not going to work. All you got to do is connect it. It only takes a minute.
Right.
But I've seen that at least 30 or 40 times on new home constructions. And if that doesn't get caught before you move in and plug in all your fancy iPads and iPhones and computers and all the technology we have nowadays, I wouldn't be as worried about you getting shocked, even though that's a potential. But all of your electronics is at risk from power surges.
It could zap them.
Yep, if your house isn't grounded like that. So,
well, Tony, have you ever run into a home inspection and just had a crazy thing that you found that you want to share with us today?
Yeah, so, when I think of crazy, it's always a tough question because I've seen so many things, and to somebody be like, oh, man, aluminum wiring, that'd be crazy, or leaky roof or fallen foundations. On the internet, I've seen a cougar in the crawl space of someone's house. But personally, the scariest thing or the craziest thing I've ever run across was just a possum. And it was under the house, and I thought it was dead. And when I crawled up on it, it wasn't. And so it scared me tremendously. The clients were there, and I was screaming like a 12-year-old girl. I mean, I was panicked, because I was just trying to crawl by it, and I was looking at it, and I was like, this got hit by a car, but it's over here to die. Just leave me alone and let me look at the house. I won't mess with you.
Hey, folks, this is the reason I don't crawl underneath the house.
So it didn't hurt me, but it did scare me. I was pretty scared.
Oh, that is too funny. When you write up a home inspection, let's say on a 30-year-old home, it's going to have issues. I mean,
oh, yeah.
It's like the rest of us. It has, it's going to get tired. Things are going to wear out. Your job is to just note everything that you find, correct?
Correct.
You don't necessarily say it's a bad home. You're just making a list of this needs to be fixed. This maybe the roof is a 30-year roof and it's 20 years old. You're going to note if there's any shingles missing and that the age of the roof.
Correct.
All of these are great negotiating tools for going back to the seller and getting more money or getting a price reduction because it's end of life. I'm not saying the seller will always do it, but you have something to go back with.
Absolutely.
And you've got a licensed inspector's list to go back to.
Yes, ma'am. And then you'll have that list too for yourself. You might not get everything fixed. There's a lot of things to fix, but just keep your home inspection and just keep going through all the deficiencies, and don't let those deficiencies scare you. Every house has deficiencies. Every house, new homes, old homes, all homes. My own home, everybody's home has deficiencies. Every home has deficiencies in it. Now, I've seen in over 1,000 inspections, I've maybe seen 2 homes that didn't have any significant deficiencies, and those both were not brand new homes. Homes that were 2 to 3 years old, that were built brand new, that had all the new stuff wrong with it. Someone real responsible and real on the ball, stayed on the contractor and got everything fixed, and then they move and they leave the house. And those houses were in perfect condition.
Those are ideal houses to buy, 3 to 5 years old.
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about your process. Once you arrive on the property, kind of give me an outline of exactly what you do from start to finish.
Sure, that is such a great question. So I'm kind of a long inspector, and different inspectors inspect it a little differently. A lot of inspectors are done on property in an hour to 2 hours, right? And then they go home and they work at their computer maybe for 6 or 8 hours. That's what the guy I used to work for in Florida would do. But me, I'm a 4-hour person. It always takes me about 4 hours. So when I start, I pull up to the property, I verify the address, I get out, I'll take the photo shot, from the street view of the home, and then I'll walk around the property, all four sides of the home. I'll go inside the home. I start the dishwasher because that always takes several hours to run a full dishwasher cycle. If you've got a dishwasher, you know that thing isn't done in 30 minutes if you run a normal cycle. So I get that started, and then we're looking on the outside. So we start on the outside. We look at the grading, all your windows, all your doors, your siding, your flashing, your moldings, your roof, all that outside stuff. The vegetation, how it happens to touch the house, your concrete surfaces, your sidewalks and driveways, all the outside stuff. So that takes about an hour, hour and a half. Then I do all your mechanicals. So this is where I'll test your HVAC systems, both your inside HVAC unit and your outside compressor. I'll look at your electrical, both inside and outside. I'll take the panels off and really look at the wires, because I know what's right and what's wrong in electrical. If there's a problem to be found, I'm going to find it in your electrical. So I'll go look at your electrical. I'll test all your GFCIs, look for fire extinguishers. I'll check fans, and that I'll go up in the attic during this time and check out all the attic and look for the attic. So let me tell you a little bit more about the attic. The attic's where I make my money, right? Nobody wants to go in there. It's hot. It's miserable. It's itchy because there's all this insulation. But for the most part, I'm just going to go in your attic and I'm going to look, right? I'm not going to necessarily crawl through every attic because that could cause more damage just crawling through looking for problems. I'll create problems. But I'll look thoroughly. And if I see something, then I'm going to go out to it. So if I see something that appears to maybe be a leak or a dark spot that there's water could be leaking in a vent or something like that, at that point, I'll say, okay, I'm going to go look at it. So it depends, but that's how I will look at an attic. So now we're 2.5, 3 hours in. That final hour and a half is really just the inside of the house where you just go room to room. This is what most people think the home inspection is all about. It's kind of the quickest part. Bathrooms and kitchens take a little more time because you got to run the water. You got to check all the appliances. I'm opening all the drawers and the cabinets and just checking all that kind of stuff. But bedrooms are relatively quick, and you've seen the home inspectors stick their little electrical tester in all the outlets. I do all that,
Yes.
So all your outlets, we're going to check, make sure they're all wired correctly and they're all safe. And then at that time, 4 hours, I'm done. I'm walking out. I'm finished. I have your report. I do all my stuff digitally, so I could, at that point, basically publish the report, even though I go home and look at it. And so what I always recommend my own clients to do is come around hour 3. Like 3 hours, will you still be there? Yeah, I'll still be there. So that way they're not there for 4 hours, unless they want to be there for 4 hours, which some do, but most don't. So they'll come the last hour. They watch me work that last hour, and then I walk them through, like, the whole home inspection. So like you said earlier, I'm going to send you a detailed report that could almost be scary because it could have a lot of things on it. And I'm not going to tell you to fix some and not fix any. I'll just tell you these are the deficiencies, this is how you fix them, and this is the problems, the causes, and all this stuff. But in person, in real life, if you're just talking to me, I'll give you my Tony's 2 cents and just say, look, if it was me, I would fix this, this, and this right away. This and this could wait. This and this, whenever, or don't fix it, So, but I don't do that on the report. The report is just everything. So I advise everyone come around that 3rd hour, and then I walk them through the report. And that's kind of the process of how a home inspection is done.
Right. Yeah. Well, you definitely earn your money, especially up there in the attic underneath the house when there's a crawl
yes.
space.
And especially when there's a possum under there.
Yes.
Then I really do.
That's great for an older home. Is there a difference? Like, do you do anything different between an old home and a new home? Or is it the same process?
It is honestly, it's the same exact process, and some of it's kind of has redundancies in it. Like if you watched my whole inspection, you'll see me walk around the house, not just once or twice, but you might see me walk around it 20 different times. But each time I'm walking around, I might be looking for something specific. I might be only looking at your eaves and soffits. I might only be looking at the windows. I might only be looking at the wall. And I really want to look, not just glance at it and go, yeah, that wall looks fine. I want to look at, all the connections and make sure that everything is just right, and it takes that kind of attention to detail because a home inspection is just a visual inspection. So that's why I always follow the same process, and it keeps me so I catch everything. And so when I first come to a house, people will be like, what do you think? I'm like, dude, I know nothing about this house, and I won't know everything about this house until I'm done at 4 hours. But when my 4 hours is done, I'm going to know everything there is just about to know about the entire house. So,
if someone wants to build a new house from the ground up, Are you available like at different stages, like when
Yes,
it's up and
ma'am.
framed, just to check the framing so you can see what's behind the sheetrock as it goes up?
Yeah, you can do. So I've done that a couple times. Not many people have been that interested in it, but it is something I provide to do like a pre-drywall. So you can come in when all the plumbing's still just studded out and the electricity's just starting to get run. You can come out there and you can inspect the home multiple times at different stages of the home. So like I said, I've done that a couple times, but if that's something that someone would like to do, please give me a call, and that's something that I can do, and we'll work out what you're doing, where you are, what's going on, and how that will actually work. But it's different. I would say the bulk of what I do is typically when someone's just buying a home, they just want to get it inspected, on their purchase, whether it's a condo, it could be a manufactured home, it could be a stick-built home. I mean, if it's a home and you're going to live in it, you should get an inspection.
It needs to be inspected.
Absolutely.
If you're going to lay down at night and go to sleep, roof over your head.
Or if you're just going to spend money on it, even if it's an investment property that you're like, I'm going to rent it, I'm never going to live in this a day of my life. For all the reasons we talked about,
it, right?
You better know what you're buying, because now is the time to know what you're buying. And like you had said, it can be for your benefit. You can negotiate that, and you never know. They may say, hey, we'll fix all that stuff. Awesome. They might say, we're not going to fix none of that stuff. And maybe you were, even Stevens on 2 different houses, and you inspected one and it has some, maybe $20,000 worth of repairs or problems. You're like, well, maybe that other house. So, I mean, it helps you make a better educated decision for yourself.
Right. Thank you so much, Tony.
You're welcome.
Now, tell our listeners, how can they get in touch with you?
Sure.
Give us your information.
Sure. Thank you so much. So, again, the company is named Sweet Home Inspections. My telephone number for work is 251-484-2878. And my email address is sweethomeinspections.tony@gmail.com. And please, give me a call. I always answer my phone unless I'm in that crawl space or attic. And then I promise, as soon as I get out of that attic or crawl space, I'll call you right back. So just give me a call. And if there's anything that I can help you on with a home inspection question, just with the home maintenance questions, any home questions, I love to help people. I love to serve. This is something that I know. And if I can be of service to you and if I can help you, please call me. Please contact me. Reach out to me however you can. I'm also got a Facebook webpage. Search Facebook for Sweet Home Inspections. But just call me. And I'll be happy to help you with any of your home inspection needs.
I always like to leave you with a little mama wisdom and inspiration that kind of reaches beyond just bricks and beams. You see, a home inspection helps reveal what's underneath the surface. It protects you from future heartache by exposing what needs fixing. And friend, that's exactly what Jesus does for us when we invite him into our lives. He lovingly inspects the deepest parts of our hearts. Not to condemn, but to heal. He reveals what's broken and what needs mending, and then with grace, he begins the restoration. One thing I love about Tony has a YouTube channel where he actually reads the Bible. Tony, tell us how they can find that.
Sure. Thank you so much, Stan. I am so passionate about that. And, if you met me a year ago, it probably wouldn't have been the same. But I've started a channel. I'm 50 years old, and I've never read the Bible before in its entirety, front to back. And the Lord just put it on my soul. Hey, man, you need to do this. And I was like, absolutely. And then he started being like, why don't you put it on YouTube and you can help other people and hold yourself accountable at the same time? And so I said, okay. We'll do this. I'd never shot a podcast. I've never done anything like that before. I'm not even a good reader out loud, so you might not like it. But the channel is called Thank God for Grace and Mercy, and and it's on YouTube. And I read from the Message Bible, which is an easy-to-read paraphrase Bible. So some people are like, it's not the, it's not the King James, or it's not the, NIV or whatever. But it's a beginning Bible lesson for beginning people who haven't read the Bible before. So the Message Bible is super easy to read. It's super easy for you to listen to. And then I read the Bible Recap by Tara Lee Cobble. And so that helps because sometimes you read the Bible and you don't know what you just read. Tara Lee Cobble's very educated and very smart about the Bible. And so she breaks down, it's kind of like the Cliff Notes to all the chapters you've read. And so that's what I read every day. And I can't tell you how much of a blessing something as simple as reading the Bible and connecting with God every day. And I loved what you just read. I love that. I love that, love that, love that. And that's honestly my favorite part of my job is I get to meet new clients every day. And not only do I get to save them money and help them with the most expensive, decision and most expensive purchase they're going to make in their lives, but if you want to talk about Jesus with me, it's my opportunity every day. And believe me, I'm always looking for those opportunities. I'm not going to push Jesus on you, but if there's any inkling that you want to talk Jesus,
then to share him.
Then I'm going to tell you, he's done amazing things for my life. I've never had so much joy. And if you want to know anything about it, you can call me on my work number too, or you can email me however you want to talk to me, or at the inspection itself. That's something I'm always be happy to talk to you about.
Absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Tony.
Oh, you're welcome, Jan. Thank you for having me.
Well, that's a wrap. Follow the show for new episodes every week. Don't forget to leave a review, rating, or comment on your favorite podcast platform. Feel free to send me an email to jan@yourrealestatemama.com. I love hearing your questions and comments, and I'd be happy to help you find a great real estate agent anywhere you live. Be sure to follow me on Facebook at Your Real Estate Mama Podcast. Until next time, y'all take care. Happy house hunting, and remember, you should always listen to your mama.